Chaos erupted across the world as Vaxari ships entered Earth's atmosphere. They were smaller vessels, not the main invasion fleet, but enough to cause panic. Ellie stood in the command center watching the screens. One ship had landed just 30 miles from their base. Reports showed aliens emerging and attacking the small town. "They're testing our defenses," she told General Ward. "Learning how we fight." "What do you suggest?" he asked. "Let me take a team to that landing site. I know how they think, how they fight." The general nodded. "You'll have our best Special Forces unit." An hour later, Ellie sat in a helicopter with 6 soldiers. They looked at her with doubt. An old woman leading a combat mission seemed strange to them. "Listen carefully," she told them. "The Vaxari have better technology, but they think humans are weak. They don't expect real resistance. Use that against them." As they approached the town, they saw smoke rising from buildings. The pilot set them down a mile away. "Stay close and follow my lead," Ellie said as they moved toward the town. They found the Vaxari ship in the town center. About 20 alien soldiers were rounding up civilians. They wore armor and carried energy weapons. Ellie studied them, then motioned her team behind a building. "Their armor has a weak spot at the neck joint. Their weapons need 3 seconds to recharge after a shot." She divided the team into 3 groups. First team creates a distraction. Second team evacuates civilians. Third team, with me, targets the ship. The plan worked perfectly. The first team drew Vaxari fire with a frontal attack. The aliens were surprised by the coordinated resistance and fell back. The second team led civilians to safety while the aliens were distracted. Ellie and the third team slipped past the fighting and approached the ship. 2 guards stood at the entrance. Ellie took them down silently, using moves the Baba Yaga program had burned into her muscles decades ago. Inside the ship, they found what they were looking for, the command center. Ellie placed explosive charges while her team stood guard. As they exited, a large Vaxari blocked their path. It wore elaborate armor with face markings. "Commander Vex, the Baba Yaga," he said in English. "At last we meet." Ellie motioned her team back. "Get clear. Blow the charges in 2 minutes." "But Mom," one soldier started. "Go. That's an order." When they left, Ellie faced the commander alone. "Your species will fall," Vex said. "You are weak." Ellie smiled slightly. "You know what Baba Yaga really is in our stories. Not just a witch. She's the wild force of nature. She's justice and vengeance in the dark forest." Vex raised his weapon. "Your stories won't save you." Ellie moved faster than the alien expected. Before he could fire, she was inside his guard. Her hands found the weak points in his armor. The military enhancements in her body, dormant for years, surged with power. The fight was brutal but brief. Despite his size and armor, Vex couldn't match Ellie's speed and precision. He fell to his knees, green blood flowing from multiple wounds. "Impossible," he gasped. "You're just a human. An old female." "You should have studied our stories better," Ellie said. "Never wake the Baba Yaga." She left him and ran from the ship. The charges exploded behind her, destroying the vessel and the commander inside. Over the next week, similar battles happened worldwide. The Vaxari hadn't expected such fierce resistance. They had thought humans would be easy prey. They were wrong. Using the information from Krell, Earth's militaries targeted weak points in Vaxari technology. Scientists quickly developed countermeasures to their weapons. When the main invasion fleet arrived, they found not a helpless planet, but a world united and ready to fight. The space battle lasted 3 days. Many died on both sides. But when it ended, the Vaxari fleet was in retreat. Ellie stood at the window of the space station that now served as Earth's defense headquarters. Below, the blue planet spun peacefully. General Ward joined her. "They're gone. Our deep space sensors show them heading back to their home system. They'll think twice before coming back," Ellie said. "What will you do now?" the general asked. Ellie thought about her cabin in Montana, the quiet life she had built. It seemed like another lifetime. Earth needs to prepare. There are more species out there, not all friendly. We need a defense force. The general nodded. We're building a fleet, reverse engineering their technology. We could use someone with your experience to lead it. Ellie looked out at the stars. For years, she had tried to forget what the Baba Yaga program had made her. Now, it had saved her world. The first ship, she said. I want it named Baba Yaga. The general smiled. I think that can be arranged. The scout ship raced through space toward Earth. After 3 days of travel, the blue planet finally appeared on their screens. Everyone cheered except Ellie. She knew the danger wasn't over. We need to be careful, she told the others. Earth's defenses might shoot us down. This is an alien ship. Sam worked on the communication system. I think I can send a message in English. Let them know we're human. As they approached Earth, a message came through. Unknown vessel, identify yourself immediately, or you will be destroyed. Sam responded, This is Sam Porter, NASA engineer, ID number 45,729. We are humans escaping alien capture. We have critical information about an invasion force. There was a long pause. Then, transmit visual confirmation. Sam activated the ship's camera. The humans gathered in front of it, with Ellie standing to the side, half hidden. Another pause. Prepare to be escorted to landing site Alpha. Any deviation from course will result in immediate action. Fighter jets appeared alongside them. They guided the alien craft down to a desert facility surrounded by military vehicles and personnel. When they landed, armed soldiers surrounded the ship. The door opened slowly. One by one, the humans walked out with hands raised. Ellie was the last to exit. As soon as she stepped onto Earth's soil, she felt a wave of memories. The missions, the training, the pain. The Baba Yaga program had been buried by the government. No one was supposed to know it existed. The high-ranking officer approached. Who's in charge here? Everyone pointed to Ellie. The officer looked surprised when he saw her, an older woman in torn clothes. Ma'am, I need you to come with me. The rest will be taken for medical evaluation. We stay together, Ellie said firmly. And we have information that can't wait. Something in her voice made the officer pause. He studied her more carefully. Your name, Ma'am. Ellie Morgan. The officer's eyes widened slightly. He touched his earpiece and spoke quietly. After a moment, he nodded. Follow me, all of you. The general wants to speak with you immediately. They were led to a large building. Inside, screens covered the walls, showing military movements worldwide. A gray-haired man in a general's uniform waited for them. Ms. Morgan, he said when he saw Ellie, I thought you were dead. Not yet, General Ward, Ellie replied. But Earth soon will be if you don't listen carefully. For the next hour, Ellie and Sam explained everything. The Vaxari, their invasion plans, their technology, their weaknesses. The general listened without interruption. Can you verify any of this? He finally asked. Ellie handed him the data device from the Vaxari ship. Everything is here. Ship designs, weapon specs, troop numbers. Technicians immediately began working with the device. As information appeared on the screens, the room grew silent. My God, the general whispered. They could wipe us out in days. Not if we're ready, Ellie said. Their ships have weaknesses. Their soldiers aren't prepared for real resistance. They think we're weak. How long do we have? 3 weeks, maybe less. The general stood straighter. I need to speak with the president immediately. He turned to leave, then looked back at Ellie. The Baba Yaga program was shut down years ago. You were supposed to be decommissioned. Ellie's face hardened. You can't decommission a person, General. You just made us disappear because you were afraid of what you created. And now you need what I am. What I know. What I can do. The room shook suddenly. Alarms blared. A soldier burst in. "Sir, unidentified objects entering atmosphere. Dozens of them, moving fast." The screen showed fiery streaks across the sky, falling stars that weren't stars at all. "They followed us," Sam said in horror. "They must have tracked the ship." The general grabbed a phone. "This is General Ward. I'm declaring condition red. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill." Ellie looked at the screens, at the Vaxari ships descending toward Earth. Then she turned to the general. "I need a weapon and a team. The Vaxari need to learn what happens when they awaken Baba Yaga." For the first time, the general smiled. "I think that can be arranged." Krell led Ellie and the humans through back corridors of the ship. They moved quickly, passing damage from the pirate attack. Smoke filled some areas. Warning lights flashed everywhere. "The launch bay is ahead," Krell said. "But there will be guards." Ellie nodded. "How many?" "Usually 4, but with the attack, maybe less." They reached a door. Krell pressed his hand to a panel, and it slid open slightly. He peeked through. "2 guards," he whispered, "both armed." Ellie looked at Sam. "Can you create a distraction?" Sam thought for a moment, then went to a nearby control panel. He had learned enough of the Vaxari system to be dangerous. After a few minutes of work, alarms blared in a different section of the ship. One guard left to check the new alarm. The other remained by the launch bay door. "I'll handle this," Ellie said. She slipped through the door before anyone could stop her. The guard never saw her coming. One quick strike, and he fell unconscious. Ellie waved the others forward. The launch bay was huge. Several small ships sat ready for use. Krell led them to one near the exit door. "This scout ship has the longest range," he explained, "and I can program it for Earth." They boarded quickly. The inside was cramped, but had enough room for all of them. Krell went to the control panel and began entering commands. "I'm downloading the invasion plans now," he said, "and setting the autopilot for Earth." Suddenly, a voice boomed through the launch bay. "Attention, traitor. We see you." On a large screen, the face of a Vaxari appeared. Unlike the others, this one had markings on its face and wore elaborate armor. "Commander Vex," Krell said, fear in his voice. "Did you think we wouldn't notice your treachery?" The commander said, "Your mate and child are already being arrested." Krell's hands shook. "No, please. Seal the launch bay." Commander Vex ordered someone off-screen. "No one leaves." Heavy doors began to close over the launch bay exit. If they closed completely, the scout ship would be trapped. "We need to launch now," Ellie said. "The download isn't complete," Krell replied. "And the doors. Can we break through them?" Sam asked. "Yes, but the ship would be damaged. You might not reach Earth." Ellie made a quick decision. "Start the engines. I'll finish the download." She took Krell's place at the control panel. The military enhancements from the Baba Yaga program included the ability to process information quickly. She watched how Krell worked and copied his movements. "What about you?" Lissa asked Krell. "Are you coming with us?" The alien shook his head. "I must try to save my family." "They'll kill you," Sam said. "Perhaps, but I must try." The engine started. The scout ship hummed with power. The bay doors were almost closed. "Download complete," Ellie announced. She handed Krell a small device. "I copied the command codes too. Maybe you can use them to help your family." Krell seemed surprised by this kindness. "Thank you, Baba Yaga." As he turned to leave, the main door to the launch bay exploded. Vaxari soldiers poured in, weapons ready. "Go now," Krell shouted. The humans rushed to the scout ship. Ellie was the last to board. "Krell, come with us," she called. "Save your world," he replied. Then he ran toward the soldiers, drawing their fire. The scout ship's door closed. Sam took the controls. "Hold on," he shouted. The ship lifted off the floor and aimed for the nearly closed bay doors. The engines fired at full power. Metal screamed as they hit the doors. For a terrible moment, they were stuck. Then the doors gave way. The scout ship burst into open space. Behind them, the Vaxari mothership grew smaller. Explosions still dotted its hull from the pirate attack. "Setting course for Earth," Sam said. Ellie looked at the data they had stolen. Plans for the invasion. Weaknesses of Vaxari ships and weapons. Everything Earth would. The ship shook again. Lights flickered in the cargo hold where Ellie and the humans hid. Through the viewing screens, they watched Vaxari soldiers run in all directions. "This is our chance," Ellie said. "While they're confused, we need to take control of something important." Sam looked at the ship maps he had downloaded. The medical bay is 2 levels up. It's probably empty now, with all the chaos. Ellie nodded. "Good thinking. We need supplies, and medical equipment can be used as weapons if needed." They moved through the corridors quickly. For once, they didn't need to hide. The Vaxari were too busy with the attack to notice them. They reached the medical bay without trouble. Inside, they found only one Vaxari doctor. It turned in surprise when they entered. Ellie knocked it unconscious with a quick blow. "Check those cabinets," she told the others. "Find anything that looks useful." While they searched, Sam went to a computer terminal. His eyes widened as he read the screen. "Ellie, you need to see this." The screen showed images of Earth. Maps, population centers, military bases, all marked with targets. "They're planning a full invasion," Sam said. "Not just study missions. They want to take over." Ellie studied the information. "When?" "Soon. This ship is part of a scouting fleet. The main invasion force is only weeks away." The ship rocked again. Something exploded nearby. "We need to find out who's attacking," Ellie said. "And we need to talk to that Vaxari who sent us the message." Krell. As if hearing his name, the screen changed. A message appeared in English. "Medical Bay, Level 4. I know you are there. Lock the door. I am coming to help." "It could still be a trap," Lisa said. Ellie made a quick decision. "Some of you stay hidden. Sam and I will meet this Krell." They locked the door and waited. 5 minutes later, they heard a soft knock. Sam opened the door slightly. A Vaxari stood there alone. It was smaller than the soldiers and wore different clothing, more like a lab coat. "I am Krell," it said in clear English. "Please let me enter quickly." Ellie let the alien in, but kept her weapon ready. Krell looked at the unconscious doctor on the floor. "You did not kill them." "Good. Not all Vaxari support this invasion. Why should we trust you?" Ellie asked. Krell touched a device on his wrist. A hologram appeared showing a different alien species. "This is my mate and child. They are from the Novan race, the last race the Vaxari conquered. Many died. Those who live are now slaves." "You married one of them?" Sam asked, surprised. "Yes, against our laws. If my leaders discover this, I will be executed. I do not want Earth to suffer like Nova did." Ellie studied the alien carefully. Her years in the military had taught her to read people. Krell seemed sincere. "What's attacking the ship?" she asked. "Pirates. They attack any ship they find. They are not your friends, but they have created a useful distraction." Krell moved to the computer and typed quickly. "I can give you access to ship systems, communications, doors, even some weapons." The ship shook again, harder this time. "The pirates have breached the hull on Level 2, Krell said. "We don't have much time." Ellie made her decision. "What do you suggest we do?" "There is a scout ship in Launch Bay 3. It has enough room for your group. I can program it to reach Earth." "Won't they shoot it down?" Sam asked. "Not if it has a commander's authorization code." Krell smiled, or at least his face moved in what seemed like a smile. "Which I happen to have." Ellie looked at the other humans. They were scared but determined. "There's more," Krell said. The invasion plans. I can give you all of it. Troop numbers, ship capabilities, weapon systems. Everything Earth will need to prepare. Why would you betray your own people? Ellie asked. Krell looked at the hologram of his family again. Because I have seen what we do to those we conquer. Because I have a mate and child who live in fear every day. Because this endless war must stop. Another explosion rocked the ship, closer this time. We need to move now, Ellie said. Lead the way to that scout ship. As they prepared to leave, Ellie looked at the ship plans one more time. The Vaxeri thought humans were weak. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Ellie led the humans through narrow maintenance tunnels. The alarms still blared throughout the ship. Red lights flashed along the walls. They could hear Vaxeri troops running through the main corridors. This way, Ellie whispered, pointing to a small hatch. There's a control room on the other side. Sam helped the others through the tight opening. The last person barely made it through before they heard Vaxeri voices nearby. The control room was small but full of screens and strange equipment. Ellie locked the door behind them. Sam, can you make sense of any of this? She asked. Sam studied the alien controls. Some of it looked similar to Earth tech, just more advanced. This might be a communication station. While Sam worked, Ellie checked on the other humans. They were tired and scared, but holding together. A young woman named Lisa approached Ellie. The aliens talk about you, she said. They call you something. I couldn't understand the word. What do you mean? Ellie asked. When they thought we couldn't hear, they talked about a human loose on the ship. One who kills like a shadow. They seemed afraid. Ellie nodded slowly. Good. Fear would make them careless. Sam called from the control panel. I think I've got something. This screen shows a map of the ship, and this one shows messages between their officers. Ellie studied the screens. The map showed red dots moving through corridors, search parties looking for them. The messages were in the alien language, but some had been translated to English. One message caught her eye. Capture the Baba Yaga alive. High Command wants to study the augmentations. They knew who she was. They had found her military records. What's Baba Yaga? Sam asked, reading over her shoulder. It's from Russian folktales. A witch who lives in the forest and eats those who trespass. My old unit used it as a code name. They think you're some kind of boogeyman, Sam said with a small smile. Let them, Ellie replied. Fear is a weapon too. On another screen, they saw a large group of Vaxeri gathering near their location. We need to move, Ellie said. But first, she pointed to a panel of buttons. Sam, can you use this to send a message to the other human prisoners? Tell them there's a rescue happening. Give them hope. Sam worked quickly. Done. I sent it to all cells with human life signs. Ellie nodded. Now let's go before those troops find us. They left through another maintenance hatch. As they crawled through the space between walls, they heard Vaxeri soldiers break into the control room they had just left. For 2 days, they moved through the ship, staying just ahead of the search parties. Ellie taught the humans how to hide, how to move silently, how to survive. Sam proved especially useful, understanding alien technology enough to help them avoid detection. On the 3rd day, something changed. The humans were resting in an empty cargo hold when a message appeared on a nearby screen. It was in English. To the human called Baba Yaga. I wish to speak with you. I can help you and the other humans. I am not your enemy. It was signed Krell, Science Officer. It's a trap, one of the men said. Ellie wasn't so sure. Maybe. Maybe not. Sam studied the message. If some of the Vaxari don't agree with this invasion plan, we could use an ally. Before Ellie could decide what to do, a new alarm sounded. This one was different, more urgent. Sam rushed to a control panel. I can read some of this now. It says hull breach in Section 12. That's 3 levels below us. Could another prisoner be fighting back? Lisa asked. Ellie shook her head. No. Look at their reactions. She pointed to a screen showing Vaxari running in panic. This is something else. The ship suddenly rocked violently. Everyone grabbed onto something to stay upright. They're under attack, Ellie said, a slow smile forming on her face. Someone is shooting at this ship. Sam looked at the monitors. There's no way Earth could have sent a rescue already. Then who? Lisa asked. Ellie watched the panicking Vaxari on the screens. Whoever it is, they've given us a chance. While the Vaxari are distracted, we're going to take control of a section of this ship. The humans looked at her with doubt and hope mixed on their faces. Trust me, Ellie said. The legends of Baba Yaga say she always finds a way. And so will we. Ellie moved through the ship's vent system like a ghost. 3 days had passed since her escape from the lab. The aliens were looking everywhere for her, but they didn't understand how a human could hide so well. She had made a small base in an unused storage area. From there, she planned her next moves. She had gathered food, water, and made simple weapons from tools she found. Most importantly, she had watched and learned. The ship was huge. Thousands of aliens lived aboard. They called themselves the Vaxari. From their talks, Ellie learned they were scouts for an invasion fleet. They were testing humans to find the best way to conquer Earth. On the 4th day, Ellie found something important. While crawling through the vents above a meeting room, she saw a group of Vaxari officers around a table. They showed images of human captives. This group will be next for the pain response tests, one officer said. We need to know how much force is needed to control them. Ellie memorized the room number on the screen. These were her people. She needed to help them. Late that night, when most Vaxari slept, Ellie made her move. She left the vents and moved silently through the hallways. Years of Black Ops missions had taught her how to stay unseen. When guards appeared, she hid in shadows or ducked into empty rooms. She reached the holding cell area. 2 guards stood outside a door. Ellie picked up a metal pipe she had found and thrown it down the hall. It made a loud clang as it hit the floor. The guards turned toward the noise. Ellie moved quickly. She struck the first guard at the base of its neck. It fell without a sound. The second guard turned, but too late. Ellie's makeshift club hit its head with a dull thud. She took their key cards and weapons. The alien guns were strange, light with no visible triggers. She figured she would learn as she went. The door slid open. Inside, about 15 humans sat or lay on the floor. They looked up in fear, then surprise when they saw Ellie. I'm human, she said quietly. I'm here to help. A tall man with glasses stood up. Who are you? How did you get free? Name's Ellie. No time to explain. We need to move quickly. The man nodded. I'm Sam Porter. I was a NASA engineer before they took me. Ellie handed Sam one of the alien weapons. Know how to use this? Sam looked it over. I think so. It seems to respond to grip pressure. Good. Help me get these people moving. Together, they led the group out of the cell. Ellie had planned their path carefully. They moved through service corridors and maintenance areas where few Vaxari went. Twice they had to hide as patrol groups passed. One woman started to cry, but Sam kept her quiet. Ellie was impressed. This Sam had a cool head. They reached the storage area Ellie had been using as a base. People collapsed on the floor, exhausted and scared. We can't stay here long, Ellie told Sam. They'll notice the missing guards soon. Sam nodded. What's the plan? We can't exactly escape. We're in space. I've been studying their ship systems. There are smaller vessels in the landing bays. If we can get to one, we might have a chance. Sam looked at her with new respect. You figured all this out on your own. Who are you really? Ellie didn't answer right away. Her past wasn't something she talked about. But these people needed hope. I was part of a military program, she finally said. They called it Operation Baba Yaga. They made us into weapons. Us. asked a young woman. There are more like you. Not anymore, Ellie said quietly. I'm the last one. An alarm suddenly blared through the ship. Red lights flashed in the corridor outside. They found the empty cell, Ellie said. Change of plans. We need to move now. Sam stood up. Tell us what to do. Ellie looked at the frightened humans. They weren't soldiers. They were ordinary people caught in something terrible. But they were all she had. First, we need to find a communication system, she said. We need to warn Earth about what's coming. Ellie woke up strapped to a cold metal table. Bright lights shined down on her face. She kept her eyes nearly closed, looking through her eyelashes. 3 aliens moved around the room. They wore tight-fitting suits and touched screens that floated in the air. The room held other tables with humans on them. Some were awake and crying. Others lay still. Machines beeped and hummed. Strange tools hung from the ceiling. The place smelled like chemicals and fear. One alien came to Ellie's table. It held a device that glowed blue. It passed this over Ellie's body from head to toe. The device made a strange noise when it reached her head and chest. The alien made clicking sounds to the others. They gathered around a large screen. Images of Ellie's body appeared on it. The aliens pointed at certain parts, especially her brain and heart. Ellie understood now. They were studying humans, testing them, looking for weaknesses. One alien returned to Ellie with a needle-like tool. Ellie remained still, breathing evenly, pretending to be asleep. The alien leaned close to inject something into her neck. In one quick motion, Ellie snapped the strap holding her right arm. She grabbed the alien's wrist and twisted hard. The alien dropped the needle with a shriek. The other aliens turned, surprised by the sudden noise. Ellie broke her remaining straps and rolled off the table. The aliens backed away. One reached for something on the wall. An alarm, probably. Ellie didn't let it get there. She moved with a speed that shouldn't be possible for a woman her age. The first alien fell with a quick strike to its neck. The second tried to run, but Ellie grabbed one of the floating screens and smashed it against the alien's head. The third alien managed to touch the wall. A loud noise filled the room. Ellie looked around quickly. The room had one door and a vent in the ceiling. The door would be guarded soon. She jumped onto a table and pulled the vent cover off. Just as voices and footsteps approached the door, she pulled herself into the vent and replaced the cover. Inside the narrow passage, Ellie crawled quietly. Her body moved with practiced ease. The military had trained her for confined spaces. She had spent weeks in tunnels during missions no one knew about. Behind her, she heard aliens enter the lab room. Their voices sounded angry and confused. Ellie kept moving. The vent system ran throughout the ship. Ellie passed over rooms filled with strange equipment. She saw more labs with humans being tested. She memorized the layout as she went. After crawling for an hour, she found a quiet section of the ship. She removed another vent cover and dropped down into an empty storage room. Containers filled with unknown materials lined the walls. Ellie checked herself for injuries. The aliens had taken her boots, but not her socks. The small ceramic knife she had hidden was gone. She would need to find weapons. A screen on the wall lit up with strange symbols. Then they changed to English letters. A face appeared, one of the aliens. It spoke to someone off-screen. The human female escaped during testing. She killed 3 technicians with her bare hands. Another voice answered. How is that possible? She is old and should be weak. The scans showed abnormalities. Her neural patterns are unlike the other humans. She has metal implants in her bones. Her muscles show signs of enhancement. Find her quickly. The High Commander wants answers. The screen went dark. Ellie smiled slightly. They were beginning to understand their mistake. She opened a container and found what looked like food packets. She took several and stuffed them in her pockets. In another container, she found tools. She selected one that looked like a wrench. It would make a good weapon. Ellie heard footsteps approaching the storage room. She climbed back into the vent just as the door opened. A group of aliens entered, carrying weapons. They searched the room carefully. From her hiding place, Ellie watched them. She studied their movements, their weapons, their protective gear. Knowledge was power, and she was gathering plenty of it. The aliens had technology and numbers. But Ellie had something they couldn't understand. She had been part of a secret program called Baba Yaga, named after the witch from Russian folklore who lived in a house with chicken legs and ate those who crossed her path. The program had turned her into something more than human. And now, the aliens would learn what that meant. Ellie Morgan lived alone in the Montana wilderness. Her small wooden cabin sat on a hill, hidden by tall pine trees. At 62 years old, she had chosen this quiet life after 30 years in the military. The memories of what she had done, what she had been made to become, still haunted her dreams. Every morning, Ellie woke before sunrise. She did 50 push-ups, ran 5 miles through the forest, and practiced with her hunting knife. Old habits die hard. The military had turned her body into a weapon, and even in retirement, she couldn't stop training. On this particular evening, Ellie sat on her porch cleaning her old rifle. The stars shone brightly in the clear sky. She knew each constellation by heart, having used them for navigation during missions she wasn't allowed to talk about. A flash of light caught her eye. At first, she thought it was a shooting star, but it moved too strangely. The light grew larger and brighter. It hovered over the trees beyond her cabin. Not government, she muttered to herself. She had seen every aircraft in the American arsenal, and this wasn't one of them. The light cast an eerie blue glow over her garden. Ellie set down her rifle and walked toward the tree line. The air felt charged, like before a thunderstorm. Her skin tingled. Without warning, a beam of light shot down from the strange craft. It engulfed Ellie completely. She tried to move, to run back to her cabin where her weapons were, but her body wouldn't respond. Her feet lifted off the ground. For the first time in decades, Ellie felt fear. The world went black. When Ellie opened her eyes, she lay on a cold metal floor. The room hummed with strange machinery. The walls were smooth and gray with no visible doors. A soft blue light came from strips in the ceiling. Ellie wasn't alone. About 20 other people sat or lay on the floor around her. Some cried quietly. Others pounded on the walls, shouting for help. Most looked terrified. A young woman with red hair rocked back and forth in the corner. "They took us. The aliens took us," she repeated. Ellie sat up slowly. Nothing seemed broken. She wore the same clothes from her porch: jeans, flannel shirt, and boots. They hadn't searched her. Good. The small ceramic knife hidden in her boot was still there. A man in a business suit noticed she was awake. "They got you too, huh? We've been here for hours. Nobody knows what they want." Ellie didn't answer. She was too busy studying the room. The air smelled strange, too clean, like a hospital. She spotted small dark orbs in each corner of the ceiling. Cameras, probably. Unlike the others, Ellie didn't panic. She had been in worse situations. Her mind worked methodically, assessing the threat, looking for weaknesses. A seam appeared in one wall. It widened into a doorway. The humans backed away. 2 tall figures entered the room. They weren't human. Their bodies were thin and long, with gray-green skin that seemed to shimmer. They had no hair and 4-fingered hands. Their eyes were large black pools with no visible pupils. The aliens carried long staffs that glowed at the tips. They pointed at a young man and a middle-aged woman. The staff's light enveloped them, and they fell unconscious. The aliens dragged them out of the room. People screamed. Some begged. Others threatened the aliens. Ellie did none of these things. She watched. She listened to the sounds of the ship. She felt the subtle vibrations in the floor. When the aliens returned an hour later, they pointed at Ellie and an older man. The light from their staffs surrounded her, but Ellie didn't fight it. Not yet. Knowledge was power, and she needed to learn more about her captors before making a move. As darkness took her again, Ellie's mind remained calm. These creatures, whatever they were, had made a terrible mistake. They thought they had captured an old woman. What they had actually done was awaken something that had been sleeping for a very long time. They had awakened Baba Yaga.